resources, put in policies to curb climate change without any baseline whatsoever about whether or not their policies are moving things up or down. So we don't think it's the city's responsibility to do those kind of inventories. We think that it is the national government's responsibility. Sure. So that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to figure out the national government's inventory picture. So that's it.
And who have you seen here?
Shaukat Ali Mirza, ওনার দুজন রিসার্চার, ডক্টর পরমেশ নন্দী, তানজির অ্যাকশনেট, ডক্টর ওয়াজেদ স্যারের সাথে একটা অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্ট ছিল সকালে, কিন্তু ওটা ইউনিভার্সিটিতে, ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটিতে, এই জন্য যাওয়ার সাহস করে নেই সকালে, ওর শরীরটা একটু খারাপ। আর আতিক রহমান স্যারের সাথে কথা হয়েছে একটু আগে। আর আপনি স্যার?
And are you aware of the Bangladesh NDC, National Determined Contribution?
I've only read the executive summary, but not the complete thing.
So that's under finalization as well. So
Okay.
you need to look at that when it's available.
Okay.
Which has a sectoral GHG inventorization and a reduction plan. So the Bangladesh INDC, which preceded the NDC,
Yeah.
had a inclusion of 5% reduction of GHG over, I think, 2030 timeline on our own, with that possibility going up to 15% with external assistance of technology and finance. And I think in specific terms of renewables, there's like 1 gigawatt of renewable energy investment involved in that package. It's mainly an energy sector program. As far as measurements of greenhouse gas emissions from different sectors is concerned, I'm not really up to speed on that. I don't work on mitigation, I work on adaptation. But I know there have been assessments done in the past.
Yeah.
So the data must be there somewhere.
Somewhere.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, DOE,
Or BES.
yeah, DOE Shaukat Bhai told that they are under process
Okay.
to the third communication or
That's
something
right,
like that.
yes.
And
So third national communication should have that.
and Mr. Utpal Bhattacharya, the consultant of the project, he has the data.
Okay.
We have the contact
Mhm.
of him from Dr. Nandi, Paramesh Nandi, and maybe he can communicate with him.
Yeah.
And also,
So
Shaukat Bhai is
Yeah.
very eager to
Good.
support.
Good,
Yeah.
good. So if you get support from the Department of Environment, who are in
Yeah.
charge of this,
Yep.
then it should be relatively easy. But then Bangladesh, you can never tell. People are very, very cagey about sharing
Sure.
data here,
Sure.
unless it's already put up on the website, which increasingly is happening, which is
Yeah.
a good thing. So I was in the Met department the other day. They upload quite a lot of Met data, which incidentally in the past used to be secret because it was under the Ministry of Defense.
And the Met data is the metropolitan?
Met data is meteorological
Oh,
information. So
oh,
rain,
oh, I see.
wind.
Oh, wow, that was under defense?
It still is under defense.
Huh.
And hence they didn't have permission to share that except with the Air Force or with the civil aviation who
Fascinating.
need, wind speeds for airports, but the general public just did not have any access to that.
Fascinating.
This is, I'm talking about quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, things have changed. And one of the good changes is they realize they need to share this public,
Yeah.
information with the public. And they now put it up on their website on a regular basis. So,
Got it.
the public has access to the meteorological information. And they also do projections. They do 10-day projections every year. They have a model that runs 10-day projections. And these are all on the website. You can pick a town and see what the forecast is, the weather forecast is in Bangladesh, which is a huge
That's huge.
leap forward
Very
for an agency that even in the past wouldn't even talk to people
That's fascinating.
without permission. They said we need permission from the Ministry of Defense.
Was there any reason behind this?
Yeah.
Well, the reason is originally I've been told
Yeah.
that these Met stations are all at airports. and they're controlled by the Air Force.
Gotcha.
So the Air Force would collect this information, and meteorological information was their baby until a new, meteorological organization was set up.
Yeah.
But when it was set up under the Ministry of Defense.
Gotcha.
The same is the case with the Geological Survey of Bangladesh, which are the mappers, the cartographers of just mapping everything in the country. Again, it's still under Ministry of Defense, but used to be highly restricted, because they were under Ministry of Defense, everything was automatically restricted.
Right.
And you couldn't get the maps out of them.
Right.
But they've also changed. They're now also making stuff available. So things are moving in the right direction.
Soil research is doing it.
Soil research is doing it. So with the two overarching legal systems that have been put in place, which are very positive. The first one is a Right to Information Act, which means every citizen should have right to information. Now, it's more of an aspiration than it is a practice, but it is an aspiration. And so every government department should respond to citizens asking for information. That's a matter of principle. They don't do it in practice, they don't have the habit, it means a lot of behavior change, but it needs to be done.
System is there.
System.
And so it's been implemented, that law?
Yeah, the act exists and
Okay.
governments are supposed to be giving
Got it.
information. And they are, to be fair, as I said, they're giving more and more information.
Yeah.
The second one, which is a corollary to that, is a desire for the Prime Minister to what she calls make Bangladesh digital Bangladesh. And this is a big effort from herself individually, and she has put her son in charge of this. So her son, Mr. Wajid, who is an IT expert himself, has no official, standing in government, but he's the IT czar.
Like Jared Kushner.
Exactly, like Annie Bunker. Jared and Bunker rolled into one.
Same thing, yeah, same thing. Except he has qualifications, it sounds
He has qualifications, and this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Sar is dead against Trump.
So he is now sort of the czar to get everything digitalized.
Yeah.
And so every government department is being pushed to put all their stuff up on websites and make it available.
Okay.
So both these two top-down policy pushes are pushing us in the right direction. It just takes time for various bureaucracies to get used to being more open and making things available. But I'd say we're moving quite well in the right direction.
Yeah.
So in principle, Department of Environment, this guy Shaukat, for example, a few years ago he wouldn't have shared anything with you.
No.
But now he's willing to.
Yeah.
Right? So he sees the point of it, he sees it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Then nobody's going to punish him for doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he's willing to do it.
Got it.
Now we need to get it from him.
Yeah.
Local people.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
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 So now, the doors are more open
That's
than they
very
used
helpful.
to be, which is helpful.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we are doing, which may be of interest to you, I've in fact invited Christina Chang
Oh, yeah.
from WRI to
Yeah,
come.
yeah. I know Christina.
So Christina's an old friend.
How do you know Christina?
Oh, come on.
From before she was at State, when she was at CARE.
Okay.
So I've known her for a long time.
All right.
And then in the negotiations, she was, U.S. negotiator for a long time.
Yeah.
We know each other very well. I was in WRI, in fact, a few months ago. I gave a talk there.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so the point I'm making with Christina, which is relevant here, is we have formed a consortium of Bangladeshi research institutes, which now numbers nearly 50 universities, private and public universities, and various others. The platform is called Gobeshona, which is a Bangla word for research.
How do you spell that?
Gobeshona .net is the website.
Got it.
And what we do is we bring together researchers working on climate change in Bangladesh and also internationally to share information on what they're doing. We have a monthly seminar. We have a website with publications, archived publications, well over 2,000 by the way. And we do a big annual conference in January. The dates are exactly the same every January. They're from the 8th to the 11th of January. And this year, a couple of months ago, was the 4th annual conference. and the next year will be the 5th, 8th to 11th January 2019, which we're going to become more international. So far there have been national conferences, several hundred people over 4 days. From next year, we're going to invite lots more international participants to come, and I've invited Christina to come and give a keynote talk, and if there's stuff you're doing that you'd like her to share, I'm sure she'd be
of course,
willing to do that. So basically, share what WRI is doing in this space globally,
which is a lot
specific to Bangladesh, and then participate with others in a sharing, knowledge sharing conference. So it's a 4-day event where the first 3 days are a climate conference, so we have plenaries and parallel sessions on different themes. And the 4th day is what we call science policy dialogue. So we bring policymakers and provide them with updates from the scientific community on what's happening and get their feedback on what would be useful for the research community to work on to provide policymakers with evidence to inform policymaking. There's a 2-day strip so that research becomes more demand-driven in Bangladesh. We've done 4 years of it, so we're climbing up what we call the knowledge ladder year by year with these yearly benchmarking. So now under Goveshana, Under Goveshana, this conference and this big consortium of institutions, we have an ongoing discussion on data availability. All right? So every time we have a meeting, this issue comes up of unavailability of data, and can we do something about it? So our attitude so far has been that we advocate for data availability. We are willing to become ourselves a portal for other people who want to make it available, like the BMD, for example, or others, and promote the sharing of data. But we ourselves are not data managers, so we can't take on data management per se, but we can advocate for transparency of data management, and we can on our website, if everybody chooses or asks us to do that, have a portal with websites listed of hydrological data, metadata, GHG inventory data. We can just list links.
Guide to the source.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We need that.
And so it's a sort of one-stop shop to see what's available, and we'll update it whenever we get new sources of data being available.
Definitely.
So that's something we are interested in doing,
Okay.
and something we might collaborate on.
Absolutely.
We can take this forward.
Absolutely.
And have, but we can't do the GHG inventory. Somebody else has to have it.
The activity data has to be somewhere.
Somewhere.
So what we've learned, and I'm sure you know this, and I'm trying to compare these things, is what we learned today is that BBS apparently has some mandate to collect all the data from all of it. And so would you then be copying? So basically, it's having BBS.
We'd link to BBS.
You'd link to BBS. That's exactly it.
So we would link to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody else has to have the source. We would link to them.
That's
We'd be
super
a portal. But on the BBS, let me just say, I'm not sure if they have GHG inventory, but they have a climate change information set which they've tested. They've run a pilot, but there's only impacts of climate change. These aren't GHG emissions.
It's not the activity data we're looking at. We're not even looking at the emissions yet. We're looking at the activity.
Activity. I don't think they have.
Yeah. Okay. But if they have a mandate.
But they have a mandate. Precisely. So we could help them develop a program to collect the information and make it available.
Yep, that makes sense.
All right. So we're early days here, but it's promising in terms of developing capacities to collect the data on a regular basis and then have it available on a regular basis as well, as disaggregated as possible.
Exactly.
Right.
That's super useful. Okay, so let's definitely follow up on that. I think quickly to roll back, this is very ambitious. Is there any way to get Mr. Wajid on this platform?
Who's Mr. Wajid?
Or sorry, who's the Prime Minister's son?
Sajid Wajid, yeah.
Is there any way to get this person interested?
You may have it in USA.
He's actually an American.
He's in America. Where in America is he?
He lives in Florida.
Where?
His family lives in Florida.
In Florida.
Yeah. I'm not sure where, Miami or somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where.
I'm to Kuznit Bari.
He'll know better. He's got better political connections.
Sir, শুধু নাম হইতেছে
The humble guy is always the connected one. Okay, that's good to know.
But I tell you what, I mean, you don't need to get to him. There is a department
Yeah.
with an official head of the department
Okay.
for
A2I,
digitalization.
A2I.
Exactly. তো ওনাদের সাথে যোগাযোগ
ও না পারবো আমাদের
হ্যাঁ।
এক
What is
ভাতিজা
it
আছে।
called?
It's called
A2I
A2I.
sorry
Yeah.
A2I
Access to information?
access to information. Correct.
Yeah.
And so he's the head of that. He's
Yeah.
sort of he's not even officially the head. There's an official head, but he's like
Something like advisor.
czar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it would almost seem to make sense then to get BBS with their mandate,
Yeah.
A2I,
Yeah, exactly.
the consortium to the
Exactly.
table.
Exactly.
What's,
So that's something we could convene.
I think we do that.
Okay. Under Gaveshana.
Yeah.
We could bring them to the table.
Yeah.
So a good way to do this would be to organize, let's say, over the coming year, few months, we need a
Few
little
months.
bit of lead time,
Yeah.
a roundtable discussion
Yeah.
on data sharing.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Climate change related data sharing, we
Yeah.
identify all the players,
Yeah.
we bring them to a roundtable discussion. We do quite a lot of these
Yeah.
roundtables, all right? Which we can convene.
Yeah.
We can
Before
invite them
September?
all and come.
Before September?
So we need the data before July 1st, so it would have to be soon.
Well, in that case, you'll have to try and get it bilaterally.
Yeah, that's okay, but I think
But
after
this,
that.
this would be
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
longer
yeah.
term process
I think that's right.
of getting it
And
regular.
mainstreaming it.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting it regularly rather than a one-off. One-off, you'll have to reach out immediately. to people.
But I think mainstreaming it. this
But
would be-
mainstreaming is something that, and there's, as I said, there's a lot of interest, but nobody's doing much about it. All right, so we can
Yeah.
we can initiate a process of let's do something about
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and get
Yeah.
everybody around the table and
That's
they buy
great.
in and they say, yeah, good
I guess
idea.
the capacity
We are
of
in,
the wings.
and then we have a work program.
I think
to
this is
make
a
it
great
happen.
idea.
Yeah.
This is a great idea.
So that's something we can offer.
Yeah.
If you let us know when you might be able to come again or whoever
Yep.
is coming.
Yep.
Or we could even piggyback it on the January meeting if you want.
It's not a bad idea.
Gaveshana conference, we could have.
Yeah,
a
so
special-
you
could
can
have a
come in
special
January,
session.
so.
Everybody's
join.
already here, so.
Yeah,
So
everyone
we
is
get
here.
everybody there anyway.
So I can take
And we can
2 or
have, we
3
can do
hours.
one of the science policy dialogue sessions
Yeah.
would be a roundtable around data.
Data collection, data management.
That's a great
And we
idea.
can get some high level buy-in there.
That's a great idea. Let's follow up on that. So I will follow up with you on the